Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, Anita Finley.
Jennifer Epstein loves her job, and people love her. And because she's in a very special situation, she actually is the social services team. Now, that's what you really are, aren't you? Is that what do we call you? Your social director? No.
Social services director.
Okay, social services director. That's right. You don't plan the parties.
Well, we certainly participate in them.
I know you do, and you have a lot of parties there, and that's what makes it so much fun. But seriously, because caregiving is a serious situation. It's a very serious situation. And you have this great position at a place that really respects people, and they want people to have good care. So with that said, tell me exactly what your definition of a caregiver would be.
Caregivers are anybody. It doesn't have to be a family member. It can be a friend, a neighbor, a loved one, somebody that we work with who takes an active interest in helping another person. Sometimes that active interest is helping to drive someone to an appointment, or maybe making a follow-up phone call, or bringing a piece of cheesecake to somebody that they're visiting just to make their day a little bit brighter. So caregiving, it's interesting. I don't really believe in a formal definition of a caregiver, because I think that there's so many people out there that are providing wonderful support and help and services to their friends, their family, their loved ones. And I think our roles and our jobs vary depending on what our loved ones need.
So then there are the caregivers, and then there are the care-getters.
Caregivers and caregetters, yep.
Right.
And of course, caregivers, they vary too. I mean, I could be a caregiver to one of my loved ones, or we could provide formal caregiving in an environment like Regents Park, in a nursing facility, or you could be a caregiver in somebody's home and do home visits to them. So there's many different places that we find caregivers, and we at Regents Park really appreciate and understand a lot of the challenges of being a caregiver, as well as the many blessings that come with being a caregiver.
Yeah,
Somebody.
it's really the golden rule when you think about it, isn't it? The fact that right now, today, you have the energy and the know-how to help people, and so you are a caregiver. But who knows what happens down the road where you may be in the other chair.
We agree. Life has many surprises, and you never know when you're going to need to ask for help or assistance or a little extra TLC in life. And for us to give back to others, definitely it can sometimes come full circle. Or we might find ourselves in different places in our lives where we need a little additional assistance, or we can call on the help of our friends and our loved ones.
With the help of your friends, right? You know, there's a song about that, something with the help of your friends.
Now, we utilize or communicate with our family members that have loved ones here at Regents Park, as well as their maybe professional or hired caregivers, to understand the residents better and to help establish a more individualized plan of care, which is something that we've talked about before. But the caregivers play such an important role. Sometimes family members or again, neighbors, good friends have been in our residents' lives for so long that they're really the experts on what works and what doesn't work, and what they like and what they don't like, and things that are successful for them. Same thing with a lot of the hired professional caregivers, too. They've sometimes been with a client or a resident for many years and know their daily habits, know their likes, their dislikes, what works, what doesn't work, what makes them happy. So it's really important for my staff here at Regents Park to communicate and incorporate their expertise on that resident into our plan of care and how we go forward in treating them and making sure that we can continue positive care and positive communication so that we can provide the best care for them and also maintain the things that make them happy and content and work for them.
I remember years ago when I would go to nursing homes because maybe I was visiting people or I was just making speeches there. So, Jennifer, I would go there, and some people seemed like, and this I'm talking about maybe 15, 20 years ago, that they were just marking time. They were sitting in a wheelchair or they're lying in bed. And I always felt that no one really cared about them.
And the culture of nursing facilities, rehab centers, assisted living facilities, it's really changing. Regents Park and other facilities, the goal is not just to come and to sit in a chair and do nothing all day. We really want the residents involved, but that includes their caregivers as well. The activity programs, meals, special parties like we talked about, those are opportunities for loved ones, family members, caregivers to come in and join the residents and participate in their daily life. We want you to come and sit outside on one of the many patios and porches and enjoy the breeze or enjoy the sunshine together, read a book outside. We want you to help as a caregiver in our resident garden and get your hands dirty and help our residents really create a beautiful environment for themselves that they can help maintain. We want you to participate in our costume contest. We want the caregivers to participate in our different seasonal festivities that we have going on. We strongly encourage that. That's sort of an informal way of requesting participation here is we have all these activities going on. We make sure that the caregivers are aware. We have newsletters available so that they know what's going on, flyers, electronic bulletins, so that they're involved and know what's going on in their loved one's life. General activities, if we're playing cards, I've seen families come in and join card games, or they'll play a game of Scrabble or Rummikub or something like that so that they're involved as well. And it's not just about coming to see the resident for what I call sort of a health checkup visit. It's more of an enjoyable visit, something that you would do even out in the community if you weren't living here. We highly encourage our caregivers to bring pets for pet therapy and to come for visits, just like they would do, and they would see their favorite dog or their favorite cat or their favorite animal at home. We encourage the caregivers to bring them in, and as well as grandchildren and children and nieces and nephews, so that there's a lot of support, not just for the residents themselves, but for the caregivers. Sometimes the caregivers need to run an errand, or they need to take a break, or they're away, or they have their own health issue, and it's really important that we are aware of other support people in their lives too that we can call on and communicate with to have them come in and do visits with our residents and meet with the staff as well.
Yeah, that's also true. You really have such a great heart, and you can just hear it in your voice. This is Jennifer Epstein. She's Director of Social Services at Regents Park of Boca Raton. Regents Park is a place way up there in the sky. I have to tell you, yeah, it's located in Boca Raton. That's what they say, but it's way up in the sky. It's like heaven. It is so nice. It is such a pleasure to go there, to talk with people, to be a resident there, to be a permanent resident or just a short-term therapy resident, and it is really special. And I always feel that way when I talk with either people like Jennifer or Leslie Curtis, and they certainly do have a fantastic staff, and they care so much it just oozes out of them. And it's just a great thing to be a part of their world, as I feel that I am. And they're located very close to it's right off Power Line in a sense, and that's not really true. That's a different way to go in. I would say they're closer to the mall. Just think in terms, Boca Raton, close to the mall, and then they would give you directions. Their phone number is 561-483-9282. Again, that's 561-483-9282, and you can go on the web, and that would be Regents, regentsparkboca.com. regentsparkboca.com. You can always tell about a community when you walk in and someone at the front desk is friendly, speaks to you, makes you feel good. As you walk through the rooms, you see people who are happy, and be sure to talk to them. That's the one thing. Sometimes you walk in there, and sometimes maybe someone didn't have a friend or visit, and you walk in, you're a new a new visitor, and talk to somebody. Say hello, how are you? This is their home. That's how they feel, right?
Anita, I want to thank you very much, because I think Regents Park, the staff, myself, we really pride ourselves on this being our residents' homes, and for their caregivers as well, so that when they come in the door, even your first week here, we want you to be able to feel comfortable with the staff and feel like somebody's taking an active interest. And not only the social services department, but all the way up from the business office to the nursing assistants to our activities department, even to the maintenance department, really do take the time to get to know not only our residents but their caregivers as well, because they play such an important part. And they're such a huge support to the facility as well. Not only do they provide their time and their love and their support to our residents, but sometimes they can bring smiles to our faces. A lot of our caregivers are just so appreciative of working, with the staff and working together as a team. We take and go that extra mile and take that extra step in getting to know our families too. And if they don't show up, we'll call and find out what's going on. Are you okay? Is everything all right? We like to make sure that they have opportunity to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries together here in the building. So it's really important, and I thank you so much for expressing that you feel a sense of family when you walk in the door, because we certainly feel that as well, and we want our residents, again, and their family members and their caregivers to feel the same way too. Get to know your name, get to know a little bit about your background. If you're a couple, a spouse, where did you meet? How long ago was that? Any special trips or family involvement? The staff really does take an interest. If a family member's not feeling well, we'll put a call out sometimes and find out how they're doing, or call another family member and check on them. So we always want to do that with the family members. It doesn't stop at the resident. We include the caregivers and the family members, again, and who we find to be important to us and who we need to take care of. And that's not just for the residents who live here long term, but also for our short-term residents too. We spend a lot of time communicating with their family members, and we get to know them as well and include them in the care, but we also extend, and if we find that they're in need of special resources or services in the community, we're happy to help our family members and our caregivers as well, not just the residents.
Well, I certainly hope that people will go visit Regents Park. They welcome visitors, and that's the other nice thing, that if you have a loved one who resides there or is there on a short-term basis, you can go and visit them. You can have a lot of fun there, and don't be afraid of it. If you don't have anyone there, it's still a good idea to just go in and say, I'd just like a tour. I'd like to know what happens here, because so
Absolutely.
often...
And we encourage volunteers as well, caregivers in the community who want to spend a little extra time with our residents, or helping our community. We have individuals who are caregivers for their loved ones in the community, but they'll come and volunteer here as well, because they love the environment and they love the population. So I agree. I encourage anyone to please come by and certainly tour with us, or volunteer, or meet our residents and meet the staff if you haven't already. We have plenty of resources available, just as the senior newsletters that go out, and this radio program, and the different conferences that are held throughout the year. Regents Park does try to maintain information on local support groups for caregivers and different programs that are going on in the community. We have resources to help with finding respite care for your loved one if you are the primary caregiver. So there's a lot of different resources and people that you can speak to here in the building to help, not just with rehab process, but if you need help in the community as well. I know sometimes some of the local physicians or the local healthcare providers will have a patient of theirs or a loved one call the department or to the front office and just get some basic information, because we do have those resources available. I also wanted to take this opportunity to share our more formal caregiver program here at the facility called Caregiver Connection. It's an opportunity monthly for our caregivers, family members, visitors to come together and network, socialize, mingle, and learn something about long-term care or senior care, health issues. We also have a lot of fun events that we encourage our caregivers to attend on a monthly basis. Sometimes those presentations or workshops are given by in-house staff, and oftentimes we have outside providers who specialize in their field come in and speak to our caregivers.
Well, when I'd like to write that down, maybe on our seminar page. When is that held, or is it a specific time?
Every Thursday. Every third Thursday of the month here at Regents Park, we offer the Caregiver Connection program. Sometimes they're held in our ice cream parlor. Sometimes they're held in one of the lounge areas. And when the weather is nice, we actually hold some of our events on our front patio.
And what time would it be?
The times do vary. We have some lunch and learn programs from 12 to 1 o'clock, and others are about 3 to 4, depending on what our topic is and how serious we need to be and how much note-taking we need to take in what environment. But they're a great opportunity. If you want to learn more about that, I have a master calendar available in my office. Leslie Curtis keeps a calendar as well. And we have sign-up sheets at the front desk. We offer the programs not only for our caregivers here in the building, but we also invite anyone from the outside community to participate in that as well. So if you are interested, please feel free to call myself and or Leslie Curtis in our front office.
And I'll give you that number now. That's a great opportunity for people, because so many people have been thrown into this caregiving world and has no idea what to do with it.
And like we talked about in the beginning, it's not always so simple as maybe doing a drive here and there or a visit here and there. Oftentimes, caregivers, it really becomes a full-time job. You're following up on doctor's appointments. You're speaking to staff at different facilities. You're paying bills. You're doing grocery shopping. You're buying clothes. Anytime that there's an issue or concern or a problem, oftentimes the caregiver is the first point of contact. So it can be very demanding to be a caregiver. Also, again, very rewarding, and it's an opportunity for family members and neighbors and friends to kind of give back to their loved one or to someone special. But we are also very aware of, again, the challenges and the demands that it can take on a caregiver, and the impact on their health and their emotional well-being as well.
Excuse me, yes, and I was thinking, but nobody's actually been prepared to be a caregiver. I mean, no one is prepared to have a baby. And now we have elders that we have to take care of. Nobody really is prepared for that.
You're right, and sometimes even as healthcare providers, we often look to the families for answers. I do say, and as I stated before, the caregivers, the family members, the loved ones, the neighbors, they're the experts with that individual. But at the same time, it can be a little stressful when you're the expert in somebody, and then you have healthcare professionals or outside companies or agencies asking you all these questions and asking you to fill out forms and to do this and that, and sometimes it's just a lot. And we have our own lives to run and be a part of and enjoy, and it's finding a balance. Sometimes easier said than done. But,
very true it is. Do you take care of anybody in your family?
I am lucky. My family is very close and very supportive. I have had loved ones who have been residents at Regents Park, and I've been on I guess, that side of the table as the caregiver, as the loved one, as the family member, rather than the employee. And again, it doesn't always have to mean a full-time job, but making phone calls on others' behalf and being there to listen and to take the time and the effort. I think that all of us can say that we act as a caregiver to somebody. But again, I think that makes a difference as well. There's quite a few of our staff currently, and again, even myself, who have had our loved ones as short-term rehab residents or long-term residents here in this building, and I think that says a lot too, that they, feel confident and comfortable to have their loved one here in this environment, and the staff is, capable and able to take care of their loved one to the quality and needs that they expect.
Right, and the funny thing is, I always get lost going there, and the reason is, it's like in a community. It's not out on the federal highway or right there, like an institution. It's like a house. It's like a home in there, and you have to find it with all the trees around it. And, of course, that's the fun part when you're in there. It's on a lake, and it is so beautiful, isn't it? All the windows. Nobody could be unhappy there, even if they're in a circumstance that isn't the best for themselves. When they're there, they have lots of life.
It's beautiful. And like you said, there's large windows. There's a lot of light coming in. Again, we have a lot of patios and garden areas that we encourage our residents and the caregivers to spend time in. We are right on a lake, as you said. There's really pretty trees. We have a school next door, so sometimes the activity of the kids, we have some intergenerational programs that come over to our facility, but it does have that very residential feel, which is nice, and it's just pretty. The environment is very pretty. Lots of greenery, lots of trees, a lot of fountains, water. We have fish in the building. We have birds in the building. So we try to bring some of that, the nature and the outside into our building.
That's very funny when you say that you have fish in the building and you have birds in the building flying all around, and the fish are swimming all over the floor, right?
That would be fun, I think.
Right, that's a little bit from Disney World.
No, we're very lucky.
It's true.
The staff, helps to maintain, and
right.
the residents have an opportunity. And like I said, their guests, and oftentimes the grandkids love to come. And, the first thing they do when they walk in the building, I want to go see the fish.
Right. Yeah, because you have a lot of life. And years ago, I have to say this, Jennifer, years ago, they wouldn't dare to put dogs or birds or anything. Oh, it'd be dirty. You couldn't do that. I mean, I remember all the restrictions. I don't know if you've been doing this for a very long time, but because you're pretty young. But they really had restrictions.
No, I remember years ago, so again, with the culture change of a lot of the nursing facilities and the assisted living facilities, we want to get away from that hospital feel, and we want to make it feel more, either more home-like or just pretty and beautiful, and again, allow, like you said, life to be in the building when you walk in. People should be communicating and talking and interacting with one another, and looking forward to an activity or an entertainment, or maybe going to therapy that day. Families that come in and tour and talk to their friends and families and tell them what's going on in the building. We want to have something going on, something to talk about and to get excited about.
So the big question: have any of the residents found a sweetheart?
Oh, couples. We've definitely had a few budding romances here in the building over the years. Absolutely. I think it's so special when our residents can connect with each other, not just sometimes as friends, but sometimes really develop a very deep connection, and to allow that comfort to hold hands and to embrace and, spend time together and really enjoy each other's company. And I think the staff and oftentimes the caregivers and their loved ones, family members, are usually quite open to that experience. Again, everybody has something to offer and something to give, and we all have a lot of love inside. And I think it's a wonderful thing, and we get really, really excited about that. We have opportunity here. Our activities department has a fake prom every year where we crown a king and queen of prom, and activities for
how do you
the
choose?
Residents really to shine.
Wait a minute. How do you choose the king and queen?
Well, you have to be an active participant in things that are going on here, and a positive attitude really does help as well.
So it's just those people, just shining stars, and the staff votes on it, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have other opportunities for our residents, to get involved. With our newsletter, if they want to contribute an article or a poem or maybe a picture, if they want to submit something that they've done, a piece of artwork, we have opportunities throughout the year for residents to display their talents. Also, again, caregivers that come in. We had one of our residents' husbands in the other day, and he sings as a hobby. So he was volunteering to sing for our residents. We've had caregivers come in and play piano for our residents or a special instrument. So again, we really, really encourage participation and activity in this building. And we want your visit to be enjoyable. So if there's something that we can do to help that process, the staff wants to know as well.
Yeah, you're so trained and you're so ready for all this. I just love talking to you and everyone that I talk to at the Regency, or Regents Park rather, is so delightful and so upbeat. And I wondered, this is funny, we couldn't do it, but one day, if you all switched and reversed roles, all of you are now the residents and the residents are now the caregivers. I wonder what that would look like.
Wow. I would maybe open the opportunity for their creativity. I'd love to see what kind of programming or ideas that they would have. I think resident council gives you an opportunity to share things that you like and you don't like that are going on in the building. Myself and my social work interns are running a reminiscence program right now every other week for our residents, and they're coming up with all these activities that they used to enjoy and like, and I can imagine what they would incorporate into that program if it was in the reverse. I think it would be a lot of fun.
There would be
a lot of dancing. A lot of dancing.
I wonder what the meals would taste like.
Oh my goodness, home cooked, I hope.
You never know. No, but it is interesting, isn't it, that you could reverse roles and see just what they would say. So it's great.
We learn a lot too. I mean, even myself as a social worker, I've had residents come in here who have been social workers or have worked in the health field, of course, or nurses, or men and women who are physicians and dentists, and oftentimes it's just interesting to listen to everybody's story and what they've done with their lives, and again, the caregivers are a wealth of information for us, when we sit in our family meetings and they give us some background about their loved one, and it's really neat to hear the stories and the history.
Well, Jennifer Epstein's been our wonderful guest, who is with Regents Park, Boca Raton. The phone number is 561-483-9282, 483-9282, or you can get on the web and you can go to regentsparkboca.com. and you can find out everything you want. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you, Anita. So did I. Appreciate it.
Bye, Jennifer.
Bye-bye.